Welcome to the Planet Paintball Podcast, the ultimate podcast for paintball enthusiasts. Each week, we dive into the world of paintball, bringing you stories, insights, and tips from players, coaches, and industry insiders. Sponsored by 1023 Sportswear. Looking for high-quality gear that performs as hard as you do? Check out 1023 Sportswear. And as a listener of the Planet Paintball Podcast, you can get 20% off your order with the code Planet Paintball. Suit up, save big, and play your best.
All right, welcome back to the Planet Paintball Podcast, brought to you by 1023 Sportswear. That is TEN, the numbers 23sportswear.com. Use code Planet Paintball for 20% off. And Southwest Paintball in Bayfield, Colorado. If you're out in the Bayfield area, go out and say hi to John for us. Today I got Todd, Missouri All-Stars, Missouri Sports Complex, Paintball Complex.
KC Sports Complex.
KC Sports Complex. And the Chiefs with me. How you doing today, man?
Doing good, man. I appreciate you having me on, Hunter. I'm excited. I've seen some of the work that you've been doing, and I think that's kind of why I was willing to hop on the podcast with you. I feel like you're doing a good job and doing what you can for the sport, so I appreciate that first and foremost.
Well, thank you. That means a lot from coming from someone like you in the sport, man. Like, you've become a pretty big deal. You're you play all the formats and you run a field. And you're very much in it, man, day to day. So that means a lot when someone who's just really dedicated their life to it says something like that.
Yeah, man, absolutely. It's genuine. So, and I appreciate, you mentioning everything that I'm involved in. We love paintball. And so I feel like that's really what I embody is paintball.
Nice. Well, man, I think the first thing I want to ask about is the Ray-Ban footage you've been putting out.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we can jump right into that, man. I think that, first thing I got to do is I got to give homage to my homie Kyle Reed. He's not even a paintball player. He kind of led me on this because he just flips iPhones and records every interaction that he has, and was doing it months and months before I even seen anybody doing anything with Ray-Bans. So, shout out to Kyle for convincing me to do it. He offered me to use his glasses and, was like, dude, you got to start creating some content. And this was kind of in an area where I wasn't really creating content at all. I kind of took a hiatus and took a little break because I was just, short in story. I was kind of second guessing everything I was doing, which I'm not a fan of. So, at the very least, short end story, the Ray-Ban glasses is going to be some of the best content that I believe that paintballers will be able to capture. I think right now we're in a limbo of people recognizing it. Rainey's doing a really good job at bringing it in and, kind of showing people's pro perspective, which is all we all yearn for, is like, what are the pros doing? What are these guys doing outside of paintball that's paintball related? So he created an Instagram called All Access Paintball, which is huge for just everybody that wants to do this. Like, we want to see what these guys are doing. I believe that I am trying to do something similar. Don't necessarily want to bring meta glasses into my private lifestyle right now, so I'm kind of leaving that out. And so what I'm doing is I'm making sure I'm creating as much content as I can while I'm at the paintball field. And it's working. Like, it's creating really good perspectives, like the POV, and just in seeing what I see is really unique. And to me, I mean, personally, like, I'm not worried about what people are watching and seeing. Like, I watch it and I'm like trigger something in my brain. I can relive the moment that I just did from that past weekend, and it's just cool, and I can pick up on things that I make mistakes on. Something I was talking with Rainey about just a few days ago is as we're creating, well, it's not even about creating, because a lot of the stuff I'm not even posting, but as I'm recording these interactions at the field, off the field, I get to kind of really see how I am as a person, and it's a really like eye-opening thing. You can see how you're interacting with your teammates, negatively, positively. You can see how you react to getting shot. To be honest, I have a lot of footage like I would be embarrassed to post because, again, like I said, I took a hiatus, so I'm really worried about how people view me and see me, which is something I'm trying to step away from. Like, I'm not trying to constantly be thinking about like, oh, let me post this, and then it just sits on my brain like, oh, are people liking this? Are people not liking this? So for me, this past weekend, especially for Texas, I record every single thing. I'm getting really good at it. I'm getting good at like making sure I realize I have the glasses on, and I just watch everything. I watch it all back. And sometimes like some of the videos are really hard for me to watch. And I think that's important for people to discover. Go see how you are on the field and off the field. Go see how you interact with your coaches, with your teammates, and it will kind of, bring some things to light that we kind of want to hide from.
Yeah, I imagine it kind of takes the rose-colored glasses from your ego off of your interactions and your play because it's all just there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it can do both too, right? Like, because I have some amazing points where sometimes I wasn't even realizing like I got this kill or I got that kill or I communicated this well or didn't communicate that well. I mean, it is a double-edged sword. You're going to see some things that you do that is amazing in your eyes as you're watching it back. But you're definitely going to see some stuff that you're just like, who is this person? And I have those interactions. And, like I said, it's some of it is pretty gross to look at. And it sucks because it's about me that I'm saying it. It's like I'm watching me and I'm getting grossed out by me, which is such a weird thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I can only imagine, I messed around with GoPro footage a little bit, but that's still like very different than having the glasses right there, right? Like it's literally seeing and hearing everything you're doing. So are you
Yeah.
just,
And from your own like, from your actual eyes. Like, I
yeah,
don't think people really understand. There's only a few things that the glasses miss compared to your eyes. Obviously you're using your peripherals and you're turning your eyes a little bit and you'll see more to the left or more to the right. But as far as like a triggering compound, when you're looking at it, it just like it gets you, like it puts you right back into that moment. And it's unique. It's very unique, and it's really cool nonetheless, it's really cool to experience it and relive the weekends that we seek out, right? Like we go to paintball to experience these fun and awesome weekends with our guys. And I get to just kind of like relive those moments over and over again. Some aren't so great, but like that is of life.
so are you just wearing the glasses underneath? Do they have lenses in them or?
Yeah, so I pop out the lenses. I'll grab
Okay.
them really quick. One
Sure.
one moment. I think it's smart to just, since we have them right here. I don't have the lenses in currently, but yeah, I mean, you cannot wear these with the lenses in. They'll fog drastically. So, the first thing I would say to people that are thinking about getting the glasses is absolutely get them. And second thing is don't worry about the lenses, because if you're doing them for paintball, you're gonna pop them out anyways.
Yeah. Well, and it gives like, it's just a really unique thing. I mean, one of the simple ones that I really enjoyed was you just like shooting something off the break and
Yeah.
just like, okay, well, he does that with this gun when he's doing it. Maybe I need to try that, something.
Yeah, and I've been dabbling with like doing some YouTube footage and dropping YouTube footage and kind of giving some helpful tips here or there. There's just like the one thing I have like kind of figured out again is there is a broad audience. And so, like for paintballers that are a home player that are experienced and will know, I'm like, hey, here's a clip of what changing the angle of your gun does.
Yeah.
And then you'll have people that just shouldn't even be paying attention to changing gun angles, commenting like, oh, you're gonna get blasted or this or that. So reality is there's all kinds of like different things that we can do with our guns, but ultimately I think everybody will say the same thing, all pros and all high level divisional players, that you guys just got to do what's comfortable for you. As we have more content creators creating stuff from POV, from the personal perspective, rather, like we're gonna see unique ways of holding our gun. Like I'm playing points, and the thing I gathered on Sunday is like I take my hopper and I stick it out of my face intentionally. That's not something that I would do competing, but I'm kind of catering to my glasses a little bit. So it's just like a third eye. I don't know how to explain it, but when I'm in the moment, I recognize that if I'm not seeing with my left eye, which because it records on the left,
Okay.
that the video won't see. So sometimes I'll kind of whip it out of my way, and that might create bad habits. There could be some negative things that could be drawn from that, but that's to be determined. I'm continually testing and using it. So as I get better using the glasses, I see that I can come up with better footage and get more angles.
Yeah, nice. So as a field owner, man, how's the scene out in Missouri right now?
So, I'll just base it in Kansas City because Missouri is vast, and
Yeah, fair
we
enough.
have like a whole complete separate city. Like St. Louis is in Missouri, and they have like their own world over there and what they do, and it seems like they're successful. But when I got into paintball, 8 years ago, there was no scene. There was no paintball scene. There wasn't a speedball scene. We had Jaggers, which is a subsurface level paintball field. They run out of caves, so
Oh,
it's
yeah,
really
I've seen that
unique.
one. That's
Yeah, it's real
interesting.
unique, but they don't cater to speedball. They do now, of course. Like once I built my field, they were like, okay, we need to build a speedball field and put our energy into it. But before that, it was just me going to High Performance Paintball Park, and Nick and Jared and Kim, those people that own that out there, they kind of got us going with like 5, 6 people. That's all we were playing with.
Okay.
And then, quickly shortened story, joined Plum Life and started traveling to Tulsa. And I realized quickly when I was 26, 27 that I was done. I didn't want to keep traveling. And if this was something that I wanted to do, I needed to build a paintball field. And I went a little bit above and beyond at the Casey Sports Complex. I don't know if I regret it. Sometimes I think that I do, but ultimately, what we have now is we have, I would say 75 players in Kansas City on average that play speedball between the divisions of us All-Stars. We're the only semi-pro team in Kansas City. The highest next level is Rejects, and they're D3, and then my D3 complex line that I coach at the EXL and will be bringing to Texas. So as far as high division, I mean, we are it, and it was built by us, by nobody else. It was built by me, Clayton Long of the All-Stars, Cameron Long of the All-Stars, Jacob Downing of the All-Stars, Alex Bubba Cross, and, a few very named people that I'm not thinking of currently that kind of brought the idea into, okay, like this is what we want to do. We want to help grow speedball and kind of we just dove in. Obviously, my shoulders took the broad weight of building the field, but once I did, we all dove in on trying to do this. We've struggled at the complex for like the last 3 or 4 years at really getting people to connect that we're a competitive field. We don't do rec ball. I don't
Okay.
do it there. I do nothing other than speedball. I have one speedball field out there, and what I am there for is to teach people speedball. That is it. And I think that it's a hard thing for people to recognize. And 2 or 3 years ago, we would have 10 people come out to the field. I've got this beautiful field that is brand new turf and, sometimes struggle with getting, players out there. I continually 4 or 5 years later, if I don't have my own teams, this year I have 2D5 line and 2D4 lines that we put together to compete in the EXL on top of the All-Stars and Complex. So out of 75 players, that's 55. So the complex is majority of the speedball players. Now, getting people to understand that they have to play speedball all the time to be competitive, that's the challenge that I am facing now. So, you asked, how's the scene? I did a no entry and $35 cases 2 or 3 weeks ago and had 8 people show up for it.
Oh my gosh.
So,
It's ridiculous.
there's and it could easily, I have a lot of accountability. I try to hold myself accountable for a lot of these interactions that I've had in the past. I'm not the easiest person to understand. I am a very high driven and high competitive person. So although I am out there, I am not a normal field owner. I'm on the field more than everybody most of the time, and I'm there to compete. I have had hard times turning that off. And so I know that I've personally ran people away from speedball and from my own field, which is something that, just devastates me. And everything that I've really tried to do is opposite of that. If people understood who I am and what the complex is, they would know that, and they would still be there. It doesn't change the fact that people can't show up every weekend, and I have high expectations for my internal complex lines. Like it's something that I am like, hey guys, like if you want my energy, I'm there for you. I'll teach you guys everything I know, but you guys need to be there and you need to show up and you need to do these things. And I think that people think or whatever, that they're letting me down because, I wear my emotions on my sleeves. And when people don't show up, I'm like, man, where the hell you been? It's been 2 or 3 weeks. So I think sometimes it's hard for people to get back into the rotation out there at the complex. And I'm of recognizing that. And so I'm trying to do the things that I can do to open the doors back up for people that have stepped away, and for new people that want to come out and play. I have some ideas and I have things that I implement. Like I said, the no entry and the $35 cases, that's, pretty big for a speedball field to do, especially since that's the only way that the complex
Yeah.
makes money.
Yeah,
So
that's a huge thing you're doing for the community there, especially those who want to train. And what I'm hearing is the complex is less of a field and more of a training facility, right?
that's,
Is
that's
that
what we're
fair?
there for. That's a complete fair statement. I would even say, like, even furthermore, I have like really turned it into where my highest level players are high functioning people now. Like I have made people out there, like somebody that I work very closely with, Morgan. He has completely changed his entire life since he's met me. We've been working together for about a year and a half. He played Chicago with us last year as I think he was ranked D4 or D3. I put a lot of energy into that guy. And, fast forward to now, he's working for an HVAC company. And now he's like started his own company. And, we really like teach each other there. We're not just doing speedball stuff. It's everything. It's, hey, like check in with your buddy. Like, how are you doing on your food? How's this? How's that? Are you guys educating yourself? Are you guys reading? Are you guys doing this? Are you doing that? I think that I also try to do a really good job at showing these guys my imperfections and weaknesses. That way they know, as, if they want to view me as like somebody as a top person out there, like I want them to not do that. I want them to like understand that I am flawed as a human, and it's easy to do in paintball. It's easy to go, like it's really simple, and I use a lot of analogies why I'm there because it's easy to break down. It's like if you're struggling and you can't make it to the corner, let's not send you to the corner because you just are going to die off the break, and there's a lot of things that we can implement into our regular lives. Like mine, for example, I am having a bunch of question marks on when I'm posting stories and reels, and I'm second guessing myself, and I'm second guessing like the nature of the complex. So I'm doing things like, stop smoking weed and waking up and reading my books and trying to like focus on my mental health. And I'm not doing it alone. I'm doing it with these D3 guys, Matt, Morgan, Gavin, John. These guys are my core guys along with the all-stars, and they're all aware. They're aware of the things that I'm going through, and I think it's important because that is what paintball is. It's showing up and playing with 4 other dudes or 6 or 7, it doesn't really matter, but like on the field we're playing with 4 other dudes and we're there to get better, and that is what we're doing in life. So for the complex to just be a paintball field, that it's not that. It is a dojo where we go to really grow as people.
I like that. I like the terminology dojo, right? And I like everything you said about that because you become what you hang out with, right? So you need to
Absolutely.
have people with the same goals around you, or you just aren't going to reach yours. Like it's just a fact that if your goals are to, whatever, become the best paintball player or, be the best dad or, make a bunch of money, you got to surround yourself with people that want to do the same thing. So
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that, with, this is the whole second guessing thing, about how I think about things. And ultimately, I'm with you on that. And I think that I do a good job at trying to portray what I want from the people around me, and I want high driven people around me. And so the people that aren't high driven, they tend to kind of like hide off and go and do their own thing. And that's not what I want ultimately. And it's kind of hard for me to navigate and figure out the perfect piece of trying to have high level people around me. And I don't mean like an IQ thing. I just mean highly driven people that seek progression over people that are seeking comfort. I don't think that a lot of people understand that they may be seeking progression in this area, but like there's a lot of people that just want to come out and play paintball and have fun, and that's what they're there for. They're not seeking to get better. Those people that are existing, I want them to be at the complex. I think that with enough time, naturally, we have 10 guys that are all like really seeking progression. It's gonna rub off on them. That's gonna be something that's gonna affect them back over there in their job. They're seeing us that we're showing up at 7 and or 8. We don't show up at 7, but we show up at 8 a.m. And if we're doing better at being more punctual and trying to get the practices going quicker, they don't know, but it will impact them. It will impact them in their when they show up to work, because it's all relative to each other. If you're showing up late and not doing the things while you're at practice, if you're kind of just being lazy and not really trying to be on the box and get those spins, I'm sure that that's how it is in their regular lives. And I'm sure that a lot of my complex homies are going to watch this podcast and know that it's directly about them. But like, I'm not talking about any individual person.
Yeah.
There's a cluster of group of people that fall together. So, I'll take a moment and say, I got my buddy Cody Calloway. He kind of avoided paintball for quite a while for whatever reason for his own, but he came back and he didn't want to be on the D4 line, even though he's completely capable. He wanted to be a leader on the D5 line. For me, I'm like, thank you, bro, please, because the D5 guys need direction and they need somebody that is right with their level, so they can understand like, oh, this is Cody and this is how he thinks about the game, not Todd. I can't help these people think about D5 level or D4 level because I'm semi-pro, and there's a huge separation there. So my whole focus has been taking people like Dominic and Cody and putting them in these lines. And I walked up to them on Sunday, and they're sitting with each other, Cody, Brandon, and Mike, these guys that I've been coaching for this year. 2 of them are brand new this year. This is the first time I've seen these 3 just sitting there kind of communicating about what was happening on the field, and they're watching All-Stars and Complex go at it. I had to take my time and go up to them and go, hey, like, this is the difference. This is the difference between you getting better and you showing up and playing paintball. You have to like sit down with people that are like-minded, and you have to like communicate about the things that are going wrong. And then you'll make the connection and you guys will start winning paintball. They could view me as high as they want. I cannot help them win D5 just by coaching. These guys have to be able to put it together themselves internally, and they need people in their groups, in their cluster of groups, that are highly driven, that, want to win and will do the things to win, like show up at 7, show up at 7:30, show up at 8, not rolling in and being lazy and doing this or doing that. Is across the board. We have all-star players that come in and show up late. I've been known to do that. And, it's really just how much are you going to hold yourself accountable? The divisions don't matter. The things that matter in people's brain, though, is the separation between level. Like that's why D5 players, they thought they were going to be in our way during this practice, even though they're not playing Texas. I'm like, no, guys, you guys still need to come out here and see what we're doing, see how we communicate to each other. It's a little bit intense. It's a little bit this, it's a little bit that, but you guys will see at the end of it, we're there to get better. We're there to like take our swords, go really at it, battle each other hard, and then, walk away with a feeling of, wow, we learned something. This layout, we learned this layout, we learned that. It's important. And it's important for D5 and D4 guys to learn it, because if you're watching this right now, and hopefully people are, that are D5 and D4, that is the separation between semi-pro and pro, is how serious you are as a person. And it is on and off the field. And the more that I learn that off the field, the better I am as a person. I'm maintaining my weight, at 160 pounds, and I'm maintaining my lifestyle with drinking as much water as I can and eating healthy. It's because I'm taking myself serious. The weed part for me was something very significant that I felt I couldn't take myself to the next level if I didn't take myself serious enough to be able to hold myself accountable with this small little flaw that a lot of people will go, it's fine, it's fine. there's a lot of medical reasons for people to do whatever they want, but for me, I need to hold myself accountable and I need to take myself serious about it. So as I joke with my friends at the Jaggers Mech event, people see me run down Edgar, and that's a D5 guy that I coach, and all those guys were talking shit before the match. Like, it was all fun and everybody's partying at Mech events. They're drinking. A lot of people are smoking because we're in Missouri. It's legal. I should be able to sit right there and deal with that. And I did, and I held myself accountable. I pat myself on the back for it when I left, because
Nice.
I'm serious about it. And I seriously want to be good in paintball. I seriously want to win in semi-pro, and I think it all goes hand in hand.
Yeah, no, it does. And, all these little things add up to big things, right? Like eating the
Absolutely.
right meal, turning down the beer, stopping smoking, exercising every day. They all are a piece of the puzzle, and you kind of have to do them all together, right? And
Yeah.
then,
And with a little bit of grace too, because the one thing I will say about my social media presence is I post what I want people to see. People don't see that I have 2 children and that, I'm not on my phone from 5 to 9 because I want to be with my children and I want to color and do things with my kids. People assume a lot of things. So I will say that, when I post a single beer just a few days ago on the Chiefs opener, that's just to let everybody know I am human and
Mhm.
I don't drink alcohol. I really strive not to. It affected me when I was a child because of my father and everything he suffers. And, but at the end of the day, if you can't relax with a homie and have a beer, or, when after Texas, if I smoke again, if you can't do those things and then just go right back to holding yourself accountable, then you don't have self-discipline. You're just hiding from your addiction. And like, I don't gamble because I have a huge addiction to gambling. Like, I never talk about that because it happened to me years ago. I hide from that addiction. I also have a huge gaming addiction. I was like a high level WoW player since I was 12 years old. I absolutely am addicted to gaming. I have not had my computer on for a year because of it. I don't play any video games at all because I get lost into some type of competitive dream world inside gaming. Like, I can't control myself. So there is some things that I limit myself on my addictions because I am weak with my self-control, but I don't think people can find out those things without being aware of them and holding themselves accountable. So, I have a lot of people that have messaged me and said like, oh, was it hard to stop smoking? Yes, but it is a requirement that you out there need to do for yourself. If you have these small little things that you want to stop, if you can't stop it for a few days, I mean, that should show you that you don't have control of yourself.
yeah. Yeah. If you can't put something down for a set amount of time, then it has control of you. You don't have control
Yeah,
of it, right? Like,
absolutely.
I mean, that's just, and that's from anything from smoking to video games to
Fast
doom
food.
scrolling, fast food. Yeah, for sure.
Fast
Right.
food's a big one, man. No, a lot of people don't talk about that, but like, I started mentioning how much money all this stuff is. Like, I would hate to see any of my friends and family live in a society where they're working half of a day, 6 hours a day just to pay for their food of that single day.
Yeah.
Like, those are a lot of things that people are not aware and not control because we have such a fast life and lots of distractions. So I challenge and implore people to pick a couple things that they want to hold themselves accountable for. And, if it's 4 days that you don't want to eat fast food, make sure it's 4 days. And if you want to get to the fifth day and you want to do it longer, do it longer. If you want to give yourself some grace and, go to McDonald's or whatever, then do that. Because at the end of the day, if you beat yourself up because you can't do it, then you'll never do it. And you'll just be stuck in a vicious cycle of never being able to do it. So if you can only do it for 4 hours, do it for 24 hours so you can pat yourself on the back. Eat fast food that day and then go another 24 hours. Start challenging yourself to fasting. If you think you can't do that, those are not, so those are that people will find out about themselves. How long can you go without food? 72 hours. I haven't been able to do a 72-hour fast in a long time. And it's only because I keep telling myself I can't. But it's something I've done multiple times and it is a struggle. It's a struggle to do. But I challenge people out there. paintball or not paintball. This is just life, and we need to have challenges for ourselves. When I get into my most lowest mental state, it's usually during winter, and I don't have any challenges. I don't have any things that I'm challenging myself on and then actually, beating and doing, right? So if people are this is like a huge message, paintball for purpose is all about mental health, paintball, a lot of people do paintball for mental health things. If you're one of those people struggling with mental health issues, you got to find things that you can challenge yourself on so you can feel good about yourself at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think what you said, having grace for yourself is really important, and having, you know, reasonable goals. Like, hey, I want to stop eating out. I'm not going to eat out 4 days, instead of I'm just stopping eating out.
Exactly.
Like,
That's hard, man. Like
it is
life
hard.
is fast. Life is so fast. One thing I do all the time is I intermittent fast pretty much every day. But like there's mornings I wake up and I'm like, dude, I cannot fast this morning. And most of the times that I can't do that, those are the days that I break and I eat some garbage, and I go to Chick-fil-A and I spent $14 on, some Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
That's what happens, right? Like something happens maybe the night before, I'm thinking of something. I don't know. Who knows how our mental mind works, but on the days that I can't do it, I mean it's okay. And if I beat myself up because I didn't intermittent fast, then most likely the next day I end up doing the same thing because I put so much mind and thought into that exact moment. And that's how we kind of get into our rhythms of cycles. It's just through thinking.
Yeah. I mean, you said like so much good stuff there. That's really true. Like, and it really goes back to giving yourself grace, right? I do the intermittent fasting thing too. And like you said, most days I'm good with it. It took a while to get used to it, but like I used to be a teacher, so there was like very structured times to eat. And if the first thing was, hey, I just gotta skip snack, right? Just gotta get to
Yeah.
lunch.
Yeah.
So you do that a couple times, and if you're there and you break and you have a snack, it's like, okay, well, tomorrow's a new day. I can win tomorrow. Just because I didn't achieve it today doesn't mean it's done and throw it all out, right? There's a lot of
Absolutely.
work.
Absolutely.
And that the habits will come. You just do it enough, and then the good habits will come. Someone who's overweight and doesn't work out and wants to work out, you don't need to go to the gym for an hour. You need to go for a walk around the block,
Yeah.
like 15 minutes or something that
I
you can
really
do.
I really want to emphasize on that and really like back you on that because the only reason why I'm in the shape that I'm in and my trainer Jesse at Active Strength Co, like he is very aware of that. I didn't train with him for, I would say, 2 months because it just was too much. Me thinking about going in there, training, and doing the workload for whatever reason was just so mentally bearing to me that I just couldn't do it. And Caesar from Blitz, he sent me a book, Atomic Habits, and so I started reading Atomic Habits, and then I just realized, like, man, it is that simple. Like, if I can just get to the gym and do knees over toes, which there for a while, that's all I was posting because that's all I was doing. I was just going in there and doing 10 or 15 minutes of walking backwards on a treadmill because that's all I wanted to do. And it's all I could like mentally think about. If I started thinking about doing a whole hour training session with Jesse, it was too much. I'm like, dude, I can't do it. I can't do it. And there's times I cannot, and it's because I'm telling myself I can't. If I was on a mentally, a different groove of thinking and I was telling myself how great I am and how I can't wait to get this workout, those are the moments that I can. But it doesn't mean that I should just slide by with doing nothing. That's the thing that we end up doing to ourselves is we end up just talking ourselves out of just not going. Go and do it for 5 minutes every day.
Yeah.
The Daily Dad Habit is a book and it's called Daily Dad and you just read one page every morning. It really helps with reading. I think reading is important for people, and sometimes it's hard to remember to read, but when you just know all you have to do is read one page, September 7th, September 8th, September 9th, and every page is a different page, that starts to create a habit of wanting to read.
Yeah.
I get a lot of my knowledge just from reading. A lot of people don't know this. I don't mind sharing anything like this. I sucked in high school. I sucked in school all throughout my life. I got all Fs. I didn't graduate, got kicked out, got in so many different trouble, fights, all kinds of stuff when I was a child. I never understood learning. I didn't want to learn anything that they taught me in school. I can't even explain it. Even looking back into my childhood, I don't know why that was the way that it was, but it just was. And so all of the knowledge I've accumulated now is all because I want to learn and I want to accumulate knowledge. I want to read books and I want to go and find things out. Maybe I'm not the best speller, or maybe I'm not the best person at punctuation and shit. But if I could have told my teachers, 10 years ago that ChatGPT would be a thing, like, jokes on y'all. I really don't need that shit. I need to be able to creatively think, and I need to be able to, think of ideas and things that are going to prosper me and my family and the complex. One of the struggles that I'm dealing with, like we already spoke on, is people not coming. What is math equations and stuff going to do for me on people not coming to the field?
Yeah.
I have to be able to think outside of the box, and that's just how that's how I am. I'm just a person that likes to think a lot. And the more that I am doing that, the more that I learn that I can read these different books to help me, take accountability for myself. It's like, these leadership books that I seek out. And I am never wanted to be somebody that was like a leadership role, but the more that I'm learning and the more that I am doing, the more that I realize there's a lot of lost people out there that need guidance. My own dad is one of them. I tried to really do a good job helping him, and he never, he didn't have his dad. We could go down the list of all these different families and different things that exist for these people, but at the end of the day, it's just not proper guidance, and that's what we all are lacking as humans. And as people pull up to the paintball field and think that they're just playing paintball, there's somebody there that's coaching you, that's giving you guidance. And that's the biggest thing I have been missing. So that's to talk a little bit about paintball. That's probably the biggest struggle that the All Stars has dealt with in the past, 2 years, 3 years, ever since me and Grant Piani, our old coach, we went our separate ways. We never really had like a locked in coach, this whole entire year and all of last year. Never really had a locked in coach. Miko, shout out to him. He kind of stepped in, seen the lack of, and started kind of helping, but he's a busy guy, was doing the whole film production for all the Hormesis people, and he couldn't come to our practices. So I'm helping these guys next to me and they're helping me, but we don't have anybody guiding us. That you're not going to be able to really get to your best, fullest potential without somebody being aware of the situation that you're in. And if that's paintball, then that's paintball that we're talking about. I made a post, about, I was calling these bunkers the wrong calls. Thomas, he came up to me and argued with me and was like, "Hey man, you're calling this bunker the Rocket," and it was called an Xbox. I just argued with him. And had I not had the Medivit glasses on, I wouldn't have been able to even know. I would have maybe just argued with him the whole time. I had no idea that I called the wrong bunker call, because at the very last end of the point, I corrected the call and called it Xbox to somebody else that was on the field. So that was what was left on my brain, was me calling the correct call. We're just not aware of some of the things that we're missing, so we need proper guidance. And the people that are there not speaking on things that they're struggling with, and not understanding why they're not prospering in paintball and not getting better. Do a better job at turning your mind off in your mouth and listen to the people that are there to help you. It's not a level thing. You could listen to a D4 guy and be a semi-pro player. He might see something that could really help you.
Yeah. It goes both ways, right? Like, different minds see different paths to stuff. I do want to touch on the leadership thing a little bit, because I feel like you said something important. You never saw yourself as a leader or wanted to be a leader, but like, those guys make the best leaders. Just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's in all the books that I'm reading, that's kind of like what transpires. I just see the lack of, I see the lack of people holding themselves accountable. I see the lack of self-awareness within just our common man and women. Like, people are just not aware of how affecting we are on each other. I don't want to touch on it, but I'll bring it up for, for the people that know. There's a lot of people that know that, us and BR and Wolfpack, like, kind of had like some beef in Ohio or Atlantic City. And those guys were touching on some sore subjects with me online and kind of messaging me, not necessarily, I'm not going to name any players, just in general, right? Like, some negative stuff was being said. These people are just not aware of how negatively impacting that is to me because they don't know me, and so, like, when you're not aware of how you impact people, you can walk away like really destroying somebody's life or uplifting somebody's life. And so, as I see people doing that to me and not knowing how much, like, I'm putting my phone down, just like really tore up from the floor up from just like a comment online that I shouldn't be. I am, and I'm human, and then everybody else that I interact with is equal of that. They are human and they are impacted. We can pretend like we are not, but we are, and the things that are said to us and around us is important. And as I see myself getting so impacted and negatively impacted, and start seeing myself negatively thinking, and having fearful doubts of things that I post online or say or do, I realize, like, that's what we are all missing, is somebody that's powerful, inspiring, and positive. And we're missing it on everywhere. And the more that we have social media, and the more that people are locked in on social media, the easier it is to just be mean and hateful and disrespectful, because it's just easy to do online and
Yeah.
it's easy to criticize. And at the end of the day, there's not going to be a lot of people that will see me on social media platforms on anybody's post talking negative to anybody, because I would never want anybody to do that to me. So I do a good job at making sure that I don't. I'm sure that people could find me and find criticism that I've laid out there, and for the people that I've negatively impacted, hopefully not many, if they'll bring it to my attention so I can apologize, because that's all we want as humans.
Mm-hmm. Man, that's some good stuff right there. You there?
Yeah, sorry, I'm getting blown up. Sorry right now.
That's all right.
Exact. Are you hearing that? Because I was trying to mute it.
I think I heard a ding, but it's nothing big. So
I've got it off now, so it shouldn't be coming through.
all right.
But yeah, man. I mean, like, that's kind of what led me into this leadership role, that I'm in. Ultimately, it's very stressful. And at the beginning of the season, again, to bring back up Morgan, he's a guy that's like very, very, like, personable, and he can just communicate to people. He's genuine. He's a nice person. So for me, I'm not that. I'm not naturally nice. Like, I am, like, I just kind of like seem agitated all the time. And the more that I'm aware of myself, the more that I realize I am, because I think I'm agitated. And I leaned into Morgan and asked him, like, hey, like, I really want to build the complex teams. I really want to get people out here. It's not about money. I just want to get people here so we can show them how to play paintball. I'll make it cheap. We'll do whatever we can. And he really stepped up and started helping me. And I recognized my weaknesses in being able to communicate to people. And without him, without multiple people, I wouldn't have all of these people out there for me to even be guiding. But it wasn't natural, and it's not natural. And it's, I struggle still, like, I had a huge problem with my D3 guys this whole weekend. A bunch of egos live on that line. Once you have high functioning people that believe in themselves, ego comes hand in hand. It's hard to deal with egos. And I'm not super, like I told you, I wasn't sure if we were going to do this podcast because I'm not super sure on how I am mentally right now. And that's all I'm trying to do is figure out where I am mentally. And, these complex guys, like, that's all I can do is communicate to them. Like, can I coach you guys? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I can do it, Texas. Like, I'm trying to win so bad that I'm not sure if it's too much weight on me to be thinking of you guys and to be able to take you to the next level. These guys could maybe have won every single NXL event if they had somebody that was better than me. And that's how I think of myself. And so, am I supposed to be a leader thinking of myself in that way? I don't know. And so that's where all the reluctant mindset comes in on do I want to do this? Do I want to lead? Do I want to lead 40 or 50 people? Do I want to coach people? Do
Yeah.
I want to? I'm not sure if I want to. And that's just my honest opinion. I'm not sure. But like I said, I see the lack of self-awareness. I see the lack of discipline. I see the lack of willingness of other leaders. I've got Gavin. This guy is a knowledgeable person and he has a natural leading ability, but will refuse to lead. And this is somebody that's going to watch this entire podcast and watch this exact moment when I say this. It's important because I've sent him the leadership books. I've sent him the stuff. I don't know if he's doing the work. I don't tell people if I'm doing the work. They can make their own assumptions. I know that I am, and I hope that the people around me are. I need more people that are leading. It's not a solo mission.
No,
And I think
it's
so
not.
often we think it is.
Well, and I think in paintball in particular, there's like a notion that this is a leader and he deals with it, but like the best teams and organizations have multiple leaders in them, and
Absolutely.
it takes that to be successful. And let's call out one of the greats, right? Hinman and Aftermath. Like there were leaders on each when he had the tiered Aftermath program, right? And they were both like just chewing up the ranks. There were multiple leaders in that camp. Now Hinman got the credit for it, but there were multiple leaders in that camp that helped that organization perform that well. So
Yeah, Hinman is quite literally one of the people I strive to be like, and he helped me in my SC duels, in my duel. He came and coached me. If you were to ask him, he probably wouldn't take accountability for any of that success. He would put it on his players. That's the type of person he is. And when he was in my pit helping me, he didn't take a lot of times talking about this or that. He just asked me who I was and the hell am I there for? And a leader like him understands his role. I would love to get to his level of humbleness and awareness when it comes to being a leader.
Man, we have almost done an hour really quick on some really important stuff. I do want to ask you about the Chiefs, man, and how that came about.
The Maple Leaf Chiefs?
Yeah, you play
Okay,
with them,
so
right?
I'm good friends with Matt Ingles. So he's, he is the chief. Him and his buddies years and years and years ago, made that team. I'm not going to give the history lesson on it, one, because I don't verbatim know it. And so I won't pretend that I do. But as I met Ingles, I was purchasing things from him, and during my like D4 year, and then we introduced ourselves, at Cup of my D4 year, and I can't really explain it, man. Like we just like he's just such a good person, and I told him like let me ball with you guys during a 10-man, and so we played 10-man with a dude that I didn't like. His name is Calvin. He was like big on the Agronaut pages back then and just would like roast people relentlessly. And I like almost got in a fight with him my D4 year in Florida. And it kind of just like all just blended together. And, I'm like, whatever, I guess this is just paintball. People just talk shit. I was still so new to it. So, I jumped on with them during that 10-man, and then he invited me and all the All-Stars out for Tampa at Tiki's. And from there, it was just like every event, like he was hitting us up like, hey, let's get the boys together. We have such a good group of guys that were brothers. Like all of us just love to play with each other. It's easy for me to look over at Clay and go like, I know exactly what he's thinking without talking. And so when we're put on the mech field, even though I had no mech experience, I just look at those dudes and read their body language and go to work, and it's been a blast, right? Like I didn't get to play a lot this year because I'll again, state back to the 2D4 and 2D5 lines. Like I put a lot of energy into, representing and helping EXL a tournament, our league. And that's just taken so much time that I haven't been able to play any of these mech events. It's been, super unfortunate, but I'm thankful for the experience that Matt Ingles has blessed me with. And it's been a really good ride. And I look forward to playing 10-mans and more mech events with the Maple Leaf Chiefs.
So are a lot of the All-Stars playing with the Chiefs now, or?
Yeah, so like here and there they do, but the Chiefs kind of took a hiatus this year, and I just think it was just the lack of a lot of players being able to travel, and Matt kind of took a different direction with his personal career. He was very involved with paintball, and I won't comment on why he is or is not in paintball, but it wasn't in my opinion, it wasn't like the best move for the league to get rid of Ingles. He's a huge, great advocate for the sport, and I think once that happened, it kind of gave him a bad taste, and so he went elsewhere to take his professionalism, what he's involved in, to the other side of the world, and so that's what he's kind of doing right now, and I think that's kind of why the Chiefs really haven't been active in the ICPLs.
Cool. Well, let's wrap it up and put a bow on it. I want to honor the time you gave me, so we're right there.
If you got more questions, brother, it's completely up to you. If you have a list of things, I'm here chilling, man.
I don't got no list. It was coming down, having a conversation for an hour. I feel like we had a great one. I got to jump back into some work stuff here in like
Absolutely.
20 minutes. So, I'd love to have you back on, man. It's an open invitation. I feel like this is probably one of the best conversations I've had. So,
well, I definitely appreciate you hitting
thank
me
you.
up and asking, and also for the people that don't know, I asked you to kind of just keep it under wraps and to be a little surprised because I wasn't super sure how things were gonna go during my day-to-day life right now, and I appreciate you for allowing that to be a thing and making it so easy to hop on this podcast. So as pros and semi-pro players are out there, definitely take the invite to hop on this podcast because this has been a great and enjoyable experience.
No, thank you, man. Thank you. Like I said, I'd love to have you back, maybe in the off season, and
absolutely,
talk some more philosophy on paintball, if you will, because I think you got a lot to offer there, man. So
appreciate that.
Thank you. Shout out the companies, the teams again, and we'll call it a wrap.
Yeah, so I'll give a shout out to my sponsors here. So big shout out I want to give to is Carbon. Those guys do amazing job for the All-Stars and the complex whole entire organization. They really have helped me solidify a real and serious business, especially being online, kcsportscomplex.com. We have most of their products on our website, so I'm thankful for that relationship. Brant Walker, all those guys, they're top-notch people there. They're really supportive and they really help us at every single event. Like it's par none. And then obviously give a shout out to my paintball field, KC Sports Complex. If you are in Kansas City and you are looking to play paintball, we are actively searching and wanting people that want to play speedball. So don't be shy. Hit us up, DM us. It doesn't matter if you have gear. We have people out there willing to loan their stuff out because we want to see paintball grow. And that's all we're about. Shout out to All Heart Paintball. Give Trey Goodwin. He does a really good job representing that company. Five Leaf Labs is Leon's company. He's coached us and he gives us all of our cream and oils anytime we're like banged up from practices. He gets us taken care of. Hormesis, Miko, Oliver, Alex, all those guys over there, they take really, really take good care of us at all the events and make sure that we're laced up in these nice jerseys that they got for us. Let me think if I'm thinking of anybody else. Randall, Tank Dangle, he'll be in Texas. So if you're going to Texas, make sure you look for the Tank Dangle booth. And then last but not least, my wife's company, Rejuve, is a company based in Kansas City. She'll travel anywhere to you to hook you up with IV. So if you're in Missouri and you're watching this, make sure you guys hit that company up as well. And then shout out to you, man. Thank you again for having me on, brother. I really appreciate it. Big time.
Thanks, man. And we'll see everyone again on the next episode of the Planet Paintball Podcast. I'll take us out.
Thanks for tuning in to the Planet Paintball Podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Whether you're out there grinding in the divisional pits or chasing dreams on the pro stage, remember, it's all about the passion, the hustle, and the love for the sport. Shout out to 1023 Sportswear for sponsoring the show. Don't forget to use code Planet Paintball at checkout for 20% off your order. Gear up, save big. Until next time, keep grinding, keep growing, and we'll see you back here on the Planet Paintball Podcast